time to touch our bags and drop our sock on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. You got questions, we got answers. It is another mailbag show where we do this on our live shows that we do each and every week, where you guys submit questions to us of some rumors that have been circulating, that's been on your minds, that you've seen on the internet, and then we react to it in real time on our live show. And you may be saying to yourself, how can I be a part of the next live mailbag segment? Well, if you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll be the first to know when we have new content, when we go live, when we have breaking news, our daily news and rumors videos, when they're out, all of that right here on the channel. So if you're a diehard Seahawk fan, then you got to subscribe now to Seahawks Today. Make sure to join us for a watch party coming up on Sunday as well for Seahawks and Broncos right here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, and we'll get started here with today's show. Seth with a $2 super chat. Good to see you, Seth. Says, do you think we could be a top 10 defense? Seth, let's start with baby steps here. All right? I've seen this question asked a lot over the last couple of months. Like, oh, is Mike Macdonald going to turn this team into a top 10 defense? They're going to take that big step up? Well, they were towards the bottom of the NFL last year defensively. And just think about this. If they're a top 20, a top 15 defense, that would be significantly better than what we saw last year. Top 10 defense, I think they still got a ways to go. I think we got to set our expectations a little lower and then build from there. If they're top 15, that's a home run. Then that's a big win. But top 10, I don't think they're there yet. Not saying they won't be by the end of the year, but at least for now, let's wait and see. Let's give it time. Let's get there brick by brick. Dino with a $10 super chat says, are the Seahawks underrated? I feel like we will be better than everyone says we will. So if you recall, earlier in the week, I did my record prediction video, and I said that I think this Seahawks team is going 10-7 this year. According to the guys out in the desert, the over-under for this Seahawks team is about 7.5. And about everybody outside of Richard Sherman, former Seahawk great, is counting out this Seahawks team, isn't even talking about them in the discussion for the playoffs or in the NFC West. Richard Sherman was literally the only media member I've seen in the past month that said the Seahawks are going to make the playoffs, obviously. So they're being discounted. But that's okay with me. That's just fine. This team is the best-kept secret in the NFL. And I like kind of floating under the radar. Put the pressure on everybody else. Let these guys go ball out. Let them play. Mike Macdonald, he makes the playoffs in his first season. That's a huge success. Yes, this team's underrated, but I'm fine with that. Ian with a $2 super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you, Ian. Says, will Haynes play at guard this week? So the guard situation is pretty interesting, my friend. So you look at the guard spot for the Seahawks right now, and all signs point to that Anthony Bradford is going to get the start. That both he and Haynes had a very good offseason in training camp and in the preseason and all that. But the tie went to the veteran, where they go with Bradford to get that job for now. But that doesn't mean we won't see Christian Haynes. I think he'll still get some run. He'll rotate in there and still get plenty of playing time. And if an injury happens, then next man up to potentially for him fill in the left guard or the right guard spot if something were to happen to Tomlinson or to Bradford there. So if you're a fan of Christian Haynes, and I'm a fan of Christian Haynes, don't get discouraged. I said from the very beginning, when it came to this competition at the right guard spot, I didn't care who won. I just wanted whoever won to play at a high level. Anthony Bradford seems like it's your job. Now deliver. That's all I care about. Let's see how it plays out. Stand Up 12 says, any chance the Seahawks could trade for Budda Baker? Budda. I'd say a slim chance. I like the safety room more than most people do. A lot of people have written off Rayshon Jenkins for whatever reason, and I don't understand it. I think Rayshon's going to have a year similar to what Julian Love did last year. Julian Love's coming off a Pro Bowl campaign. You do have some question marks about the depth behind them. What version are we going to get out of Kobe Bryant? What version are we going to get out of Kayvon Wallace? But no, I wouldn't personally be trading for Budda Baker. And interdivision trades are rare. Although I'll say this, Buddha's trade value has gone down a lot from what it once was. So I would say if you want him, you could still pull it off. And the Cardinals are so bad, and they're in the middle of the rebuild, I think they would still even trade him in the division if you had the best offer out there. I don't think that they're interested in trading for him, but I wouldn't rule it out. I would say there's probably about a 5% chance at this point. Should the Seahawks trade for Budda? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in and let us know. Seahawks for life writes in, what are the chances the Seahawks trade for Ojulari, the edge rusher from the New York Football Giants? So you look at this edge rusher spot for the Seahawks right now. You don't have Uchenna Nwosu for a bit. Draymond Jones is going to play a bit of the edge rusher. Boye Mafe moves into the starting lineup. You got Derek Hall there, among others. I think this is a name that we potentially circle back to at the trade deadline. All right? Still a very young player. Been very successful in his career. 8 sacks in 2021, 5.5 in 2022. This is a name for me that if the Seahawks aren't feeling great, if Uchenna doesn't really get healthy, if those guys like, Boye and Derek Hall don't really step up, watch out for Ojulari as a name at the trade deadline. I don't think they're trading for him tomorrow or next week or the week after. Well, let's circle back. Remember that name. And remember, they traded with the Giants at the trade deadline last year, bringing in Leonard Williams. So keep that in mind here, folks. Should the Seahawks trade for Ojulari? Y for yes. N for no. You choose. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. You can mix and match different leagues as well, folks. Here's what I got on Prize Picks this week. I got Harrison Butker to hit the more on 1.5 field goals made. Got Caleb Williams. This one's an easy one, folks. More than half a passing yard. Yes, sir. Also got Geno Smith to have more than 238.5 passing yards against Denver. Let's say I put $20 down and all those hit. That's going to turn into $100 in Prize Picks, folks. And I got quite the deal for you. Listen closely. If you use the code CLNS, you will get $50 off when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So what are you waiting for, folks? Go see for yourself. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for that $50 instantly when you play $5. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seahawks Today. Time for a couple more. Daniel says, what is your score prediction for Seattle versus Denver? I think the Seahawks pull it off 24-17. I think that is a good score prediction. I think the defense comes through. They make enough stops, and we see them create some turnovers. The offense shows some flashes, but they don't show everything. But I think a 24-17 win, you cover as well. I would gladly take that. That's what I think is going to happen, and I'd live with that. 2 more questions. C. Chickens writes in, what Seahawks player are you looking for versus Denver? Devin Witherspoon and Jackson Smith-Njigba are the 2 guys. Second-year players looking to take a huge step up. No better time than game 1 to show what you're made of and that you're ready to be those Pro Bowl caliber players, the guys to lead this team. Here's your chance. This is a great opportunity to do it right from the jump. Last question. Raw Hector writes in, should we focus on offense or defense in next year's draft? Man, I haven't even thought about next year's draft, to be honest, yet. I do like Travis Hunter. I know that much. But right now, I think it's offensive line. You're going to need to draft a right tackle next year. It's not looking good for Abe. Even if he gets healthy, I don't think Abe's going to be holding up long term. So, yeah, I think right now you're thinking offensive line, but we're still ways away from that. We'll see how things work. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. Lock us in. Make sure to join us for our watch party coming up on Sunday. We'll see you then right here on Seahawks Today.